Did you know about the payments?
Later on, I knew. Later on.
Yeah, he knew later on. He knew before. He's lying.
He's saying later on. But wait, I think we should all...
Is that Michael Cohen and President Trump talking about the deal?
You know what tape? Wait, you know what tape I want to hear?
Kelly,
tell us. Excuse me. Tell us what's on the tape of Chris Cuomo and Michael Cohen. What's on the 2-hour tape of the two of you?
Tons of stuff.
Okay, well, tell us.
Tons of stuff.
Transparency,
I'll tell you why I can't.
Accountability, facts first.
Yeah,
why?
I'll tell you why. Because there's a little difference between you and me and the shop you're working for. Integrity.
The White House?
My conversation with him.
You?
How dare me? You admit he's lying about these things. It's as plain as the nose on my face. You should admit he's lying. And you don't. That's why people don't trust you.
No.
That's
why. You know what? Maybe
your
audience doesn't.
And you want me to answer your question? I will. Michael Cohen had a conversation with me. He asked me not. Excuse me. He asked me not to record it. I said I won't. He said just to be careful, let me have your phone. I said here. He then said, we'll take our phones. I'll put them away. He did. He then recorded me on a secondary device.
How do you feel about that?
I think that was dishonest, and it was a bad thing to do.
Dishonest, no intent.
And I'll tell you what, you want to know what we talked about in the conversation? I'm not going to tell you. You know why?
Well, tell us for 2
hours. Because it was off the
hours.
record, and I respect that, even though he did me wrong. That's called integrity. What do you do when people aren't watching? I'm still not going to burn him, even though he did something wrong. He can answer that for himself. I'll tell you what, there's nothing on it that I'm worried about.
And
I know why you guys want to leak it, but hold on a second. This isn't about me. You tried, you failed. He is on that tape.
You tried, you
he
failed.
is
Let's
on there with
viral.
Michael Cohen, and he's lying about not knowing before these payments, and you should admit it.
No,
you have to admit it.
No, I don't. Are you kidding me?
I'll tell you why. Because you say to people,
the president just answered the question.
The truth isn't the truth. He says, don't believe what you see and hear.
No.
He's saying it is all destroying people's sense of normalcy and decency and debate and integrity.
You just want to filibuster.
I've asked you 6 times. You won't answer it,
You've asked me 10 times the same question, and let me tell you,
the president
already answered the question.
He's lying.
No, that's what you think.
That's what the Washington Post says. That's what Michael Cohen says. That's what David Pecker says. And I think it's going to wind up being what the court says.
Michael Cohen, who you just said, disappointed you?
Yeah.
By being
You're disappointing me right now. Doesn't mean you're not my friend.
No,
doesn't mean I think you lie all the time just because you're disappointing me.
You've got about 10 times the words I do so far, and I'm the guest. So
because you're not answering a simple question.
You came all the way down here to interview a White House guest.
Go ahead.
Here's a very, very simple answer to you. When you say to me that this is why the audience doesn't trust you, you know why the audience doesn't trust the White House. Because all day long on your network, all they hear is how terrible we all are, that we lack integrity, that we lie.
He lies.
What is it you think I lie about? Here, tell the world.
I'm asking you to admit that he is lying about what happened on these payments. I don't think it is helpful to you to play games about something that's so plain.
Do you think it's a lie?
I'll give you that free advice.
Lie, true or false? Do you think it's a lie that ICE and CBP were honored this week on Monday by the President of the United States for all the great work they're doing? That the mayor of Philadelphia danced the jig or whatever the heck he was doing after he announced that Philadelphia would no longer give data to ICE, and turned around, and the guy who had been deported came back 5 years later. ICE asked for a detainer for the man. Philadelphia let him go, and he raped a 5-year-old child. None of this is fact. None of this is true. None of this matters.
Who says it's not fact? Who says it's not true?
How is that less relevant than you trying to get me to answer the same question 12 times? Did the President of the United States
answer? Because you keep ducking it. He lied,
I'm not ducking. He answered the question.
He lied.
Why are his words not important to you?
Because he's lying. They are important to me. I'm asking you about them.
What is it you think I lie about?
Because they are a material misrepresentation of fact for the purposes of deception.
No.
That's a lie.
What crime was committed? What charges were filed against Donald Trump this week?
The bar of proper behavior by a president is not a felony.
Do you think anything that you've just said, excuse me, he didn't commit a felony. Do you think anything
I'm saying you lie, that matters. That is a crime against the American people. It's a crime of leadership. It's a crime of integrity.
He said he
Stop
didn't
lying
know
to them.
Until after
and
he knew about the payments later on.
He's lying.
And you know what a lie is? That on July 27th, you guys came out with this big report. Nobody's retracting it yet. 3 big bylines.
Oh, so let me get you on the record the other way. Do you think the president's telling the truth? That he never knew about the payments until after they were all done?
He's saying that he knew them after the fact. I never knew about them, and I was a campaign manager.
Oh, no,
you should absolutely care about that.
I care about him.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. You should absolutely care that the campaign manager would, for the winning part of the campaign, think that there's nothing to be gained in meeting with Russians and talking to people in Moscow instead of Michigan and Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. You should very much care that I don't know about payments
to women,
about the president. And you should be reminded that every single night, CNN was featuring another woman with another story. You played the Access Hollywood tape constantly, thinking that it would hurt the candidate, he would never be elected. CNN interfered in the election daily by shifting the scales over to Hillary.
Are we a foreign inimical power?
No, with your phony polling,
I mean, this is daffy,
and everybody saying,
excuse me,
no, that he could never win.
People say we didn't cover his lying and bad character enough. That's what I get criticized for.
Christopher, unless you're getting $50 every time you say the word. It used to be collusion. Tonight it's lying.
No,
some other day,
they both matter. By the way, both words matter.
Really?
We don't know if there's proof of one. There's an investigation going on that our president disrupts every chance he gets.
You cover that more than the booming economy. You cover that more than the low unemployment rate. You cover that more than the consumer confidence.
He talks about this more than he talks about all of those things.
You are a world-class